In the village of Iganmu, where the Red Earth remember every footprint, there lived a young cartographer named Sei who drew maps of places he had never seen. He mapped rivers that ran only in stories and hills that existed only in the throats of old singers. But there was one thing he could not map: love. The elders used to say love was a trodden path to woe. They would point to the narrow trail that cut through the cassava fields, hardened by generations of feet. That, they would murmur, is love. Everyone walks it, everyone stumbles. Sei did not believe them until he met Amara. She arrived in the village like first rain after harmattan, quiet, cleansing, dangerous. Her laughter carried the promise of harvest, and her silence carried storms. Sei fell in love the way a child falls into a well without measuring its depth. At first, love was sweet. It tasted like roasted corn shared under the evening sky, but soon it became the trodden path the elders had warned about. Jealousy grew like weeds. Words, once tender, became thorns. Sei found himself walking that narrow trail, barefoot, each step cutting deeper than the last. He learned how love could bruise, how expectation could tighten around the heart like a rope, how longing could hollow a man out until he echoed. When Amara left without anger, without explanation, the path became unbearable. It felt cursed by the ghosts of those who had walked it before him. He saw then what the elders meant. Love, when walked blindly, is a road worn down by sorrow. It is easy to follow because so many have suffered there already. But heartbreak did something strange to Sei. It made him curious. If love was only a trodden path to woe, why did people keep walking it? So he began to map it not with ink, but with questions. He noticed that not all love looked the same. There was the love of a mother who stayed awake through the night, the love of a friend who forgave before apology, the love of a stranger who offered water on a long journey. These loves were not narrow or bruised. They were winding, unpredictable. Love, he realized, was also a path of mystery. It was not just the worn trail through cassava fields. It was a forest where no two trees stood alike. It was a river whose depth changed with the moon. It was a sky that shifted color without warning. When he met Amara again years later in the bustling streets of Lagos, he did not rush toward her like before. He did not step onto the old hardened trail. Instead, he stood still and listened. They spoke as to travelers comparing maps. He understood now. Love becomes a trodden path when we try to force to follow the footsteps of others, when we expect it to behave as it did yesterday or as it did for someone else. But love becomes a mystery when we approach it with humility, when we accept that it cannot be fully drawn, only discover. This time, he did not cling. This time, he did not demand. This time, he allowed love to unfold like an uncharted road, and whether it would lead to joy or sorrow, he did not know. But he walked it anyway, not